pretentious and dumb. I can do both. Tell me if you've heard this before. You have a guy in your family, a woman in your family, neighborhood, in your class, somebody at work, somebody who goes to the same store that you do. My dad used to refer to somebody being a Buttinski. We're Italian, but every now and then he would declare that there was a little Buttinski in your family history. You're being a Buttinski. That usually meant you were sticking your nose in where it wasn't needed. It didn't belong. Gossips, busybodies, do-gooders, crusaders of all sorts.
Fuck you!
They might not have the whole story, yet they're the first ones to champion the cause. Boy, do we ever see that happening today, and with horrific effects. You go off half-cocked. We fly off the handle. There's all these cliched phrases that capture that. But for me, my old man telling me, don't be a Buttinski. He'd even call himself out. Okay, I was being a Buttinski, and he would back off. He could spot it in other people, but he could spot it in himself. I think that's one of the reasons why some people point that out. I think that's why he pointed it out. Well, one, he didn't like that sort of thing. Two, if he's thinking about it, if he's on his guard, chances are he's going to do a lot less of it. That's a theory. Nobody's perfect. It always happens. It happens to the best of us. We do that. We find ourselves on a soapbox. Well, the soapbox is one thing, but then when you start engaging other people and getting involved in their business and telling them how they should, not advice, actually getting involved.
Asshole!
Well, that's adding trouble. That's adding a lot of trouble. That's a huge part of Cobra Kai. That's Daniel LaRusso. Character I love. He's a Buttinski. Is he all Italian? No, he's got a little Buttinski in him. Where does this Buttinski characteristic get Daniel into trouble? Well, right away, we discover that he's made this commercial taking a very clear, obvious shot at Cobra Kai. His wife Amanda sees the commercial, and she kind of points out you've spent the company money, a lot of marketing money, on your dojo commercial, your karate gym. It's a dojo. So his sticking his nose in where it's not necessary is creating friction. It's creating and intensifying friction between Daniel and Johnny. And of course, that's just going to create friction between those involved in Miyagi-Do and Cobra Kai. So already, you can see where the effects of being a Buttinski take place just in the story alone. Now take that and extrapolate that. Pull that out of a TV show about kicking in the face. Place that in your life. Where have you seen it? Maybe you have gotten involved in something that's not necessary right now. The world will go on. You can give somebody some advice, but you stick your nose in too far.
Fuck you!
You don't know necessarily what the side effects are going to be. Unintended consequences. Where is it going to spin next? Where's the wheel going to turn? That's where this is all going. We know this doesn't work out so well. Now, it's not perfectly bad. There's some great positive side effects of Daniel deciding he better get back into karate, training somebody. Well, it probably would have been just fine if he just would have trained Sam and just would have trained Robbie. Let it grow and build organically. Is it better to teach a dojo full of students, spending most of your time collecting this large number of students and teaching all of them? Or is it better just to start teaching your one student? What did Mr. Miyagi do? How many students did he have? Well, one, Daniel LaRusso. Okay, and then Hilary Swank later on. But it was one student at a time. Focus, put all of your attention in one student so you can see the effect of your lessons, your teachings. Maybe one or two students is better. Focus on that. especially if you think you have a crusade you need to go on. In fact, they could learn by example from Sam and Robbie. That is the lesson that we should be taking. The lesson, a lesson. Not the lesson. It is a lesson. I know. I keep saying this. It's a show about breaking boards and kicking people in the head and coming of age. That's what it is. Getting a second chance. There has to be said, it's absolutely one of the major themes of Cobra Kai. Second chance. Everybody deserves a second chance. What do you do with that second chance? He should be giving Johnny Lawrence a second chance. He should read the fine print first. He should see for himself. Before you be a Buttinski, why don't you get all the news? Don't burn a building down until you know all of the news. That's a relevant story for today. Pay attention. How is your bad guy detector? You think it's okay just to go and haul off and beat up bad guys? You're not Captain America. Besides, the bad guys you're likely to run into aren't that bad. But let's say you got a bad guy. You're just going to haul off and crack him in the skull? I hope your bad guy detector has new, fresh batteries, and it's been recalibrated quite recently. Otherwise, you're going to make mistakes. That's what Daniel's doing. Well, what happens in Fire and Ice? It's a Pat Benatar song. Fire and Ice, the two meet, what happens? It works out well for one and not the other. The fire melts the ice. It's almost as if Daniel promises the audience one thing, but delivers a different thing. It's with his initial students. Well, potential students. The two kids who come over and then realize, you want us to do chores? This is bullshit. They were fooling us. Car salesmen, they're untrustworthy, got to read the fine print. So he promised one thing, but delivered another. Now it worked with Mr. Miyagi. One student. It worked with Mr. Miyagi. Frustrate Daniel LaRusso. And he will learn without realizing he's learning. Well, you've got to prime the pump when it comes to new students. He could have said, let's go to your house. Let's go to a public building where we can paint something that somebody needs. We can do this as civic works. I don't benefit from it, but you benefit from the lessons. No, he didn't do that. He didn't think about it. He's too excited to be just like Mr. Miyagi, and it didn't work. He promised one thing, delivered something completely different in a bad way. Mr. Miyagi promised one thing and delivered something different successfully. He gives the audience at the 4th of July celebration a promise of a demonstration of Miyagi-Do karate. What does everybody think of when they hear the word karate? Yes, they think of all the cliches. They think of, hi-ya! They think Miss Piggy doing a karate chop to Kermit or somebody else. Yeah, I know. Cheesy, yes. That is what people think. They do think breaking boards. They do think fights and defense and cool choreography in kung fu movies. Yep, that is what they think of. So if you promise that, you should deliver that. And they delivered something a little bit different, a little bit more showy, a little bit more artistic. They gave every opportunity for the audience to want Cobra Kai. And Johnny shows up and gives the audience Cobra Kai. Almost as if to say, Cobra Kai Dojo thanks LaRusso Auto Group. Buy a car from them, take karate lessons from me. Stole their thunder. In a way, Daniel was asking for it. He was a little arrogantly focused on himself. This will work. It can work, but he didn't do it quite right. It's like Johnny and the Cobras of Cobra Kai made a spectacular interception. Well, Johnny sees this ad and gets pissed right out of the gate, and he retaliates after having Daniel take the image of the snake that is evoked and deliver snake in the grass. You don't want to be a snake in the grass. That was clever. That was good. But he did tee Johnny up. He did ask him. He was poking the bear, and the bear struck back. The bear took a sandwich from the picnic basket. It was friendly. It was positive. It was fun. You screwed with us. Well, okay, and good-natured screwing you back. You don't have to be from Jersey to go and give somebody the needle. You don't have to be Italian. Oh, hey, buddy, how you doing? Yeah, screw you and the horse you rode in on. Somebody else can do that, too. Johnny Lawrence did exactly that. Just to belabor the point a little bit more, don't be a Buttinski. So all the pretentious business out of the way, let's go enjoy the next episode. Thanks very much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.